Raising money for the VCU Massey Cancer Center, the third annual Richmond Brunch Weekend is coming up this Saturday and Sunday with over 40 local restaurants participating.
Including those where Chef Alex Ungest is in the kitchen. Did I mess up again?
Yeah.
Ankist.
Ankist?
Yep,
Ankist.
Anyway, he's going to be,
Alex.
Chef Alex is going to be on our show to show us a delicious brunch entree with scallops, grits, greens, and wait for it, pork belly.
Yum, yum, and yum. Good morning, Chef.
Morning.
Good to see you. This is the third annual brunch weekend. Brunch seems to be a special thing for people, but this weekend it's extra special.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's coming together to kind of participate with Massey and kind of raise money for cancer research, which I think is a really great thing. I know Max is on Broad, Little Saint, Terrence, and Terrence West. We all really get involved with Massey. We really like them, so we try and do everything we can to help get the word out and get money in there for new projects, new research. So yeah, it's going to be a great weekend.
Folks can come out, and the money, part of the proceeds from brunch goes to that. So is this recipe you're doing today on your brunch menu?
It isn't, but you can get it.
Ah, we like by special
get it.
request.
Absolutely.
So you're making us scallops and grits today, and we were having a conversation about grits, which, you know, there are lots of levels in there.
Yeah, you know, it's just like cars, you know, there's everything from, like, you know, the Cadillac to the Ford Focus. So.
Because I walked over and I thought you had scrambled eggs under your scallops, but no. So you've got some beautiful scallops that you're drying, and drying the scallops is very important, isn't it?
Yeah, really any kind of seafood that you're trying to cook, and it sounds weird because, you know, seafood comes from the water, so they like live in water, but you
you're
want
getting
them,
the water out.
Right, you want them to be as dry as possible. Otherwise, you're going to get a lot of juices in your pan, and it's actually you want your pan to be as hot as possible. And, you know, if they're wet, it's going to cool down the pan.
Yeah, your cast iron pan is smoking, so let's get going here.
It's been cooking all day, so.
Yeah, he's been standing over here behind this pan since the show started earlier this morning, so he's ready to cook. So let's get going. So what is in there now that you just kind of spread
really
around?
just a little bit of oil, and this is actually my cast iron from home, so it's been pretty well seasoned over the last 8 years. But yeah, you want to get a nice little base coat of oil. Obviously, you have your scallops here. They've been drying off for about, it only needs a couple of minutes, depending on if you just want to blot them with a paper towel. Salting them also helps draw a little bit of the moisture to the surface, and then you can pat them off again. And as soon as you're ready to go, you just kind of take them, and you want to put them right in the pan. And you want to make sure you kind of press down a little bit.
Yeah, you press down to get them settled in there, right? Yeah,
because what's going to happen is when the flesh of the scallop hits the pan, that heat, it's going to make it want to
jump up.
Yeah, retract back in.
Get out of here.
Exactly. So you want to make sure that they sit down and you get a nice even sear over the whole thing.
So for those of us who don't have chef's hands, could we use like a spatula or something?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's probably the smarter way to go.
Yeah, smarter way to do that.
Yeah, I haven't been able to feel my fingertips in a couple of years, so it's not really a big problem for me.
Yeah, spatula for me. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So how long do they sit there and just kind of sear on that one side?
Yeah, it's all, there's a lot of variables, at home versus in a commercial kitchen, but really, you just want to get your pan as hot as possible, and you're going to kind of want to wait until you start to see it brown around the edges. Once you kind of start to see that nice golden brown kind of creep around, you can flip them over. And, depending on how you like your scallops, I personally like to sear them, get them nice and crispy on the one side, flip them over, cut the heat off, a little bit of butter, just done. So they're nice and crispy on the one side.
That
still
heat residue is enough to do the flip side.
Yeah.
I
like my scallops to be a little bit, medium rare, if you will. So, but if you want them more done, obviously you just leave the heat on, flip them over, and the other side will sear.
Let them go. Now, as far as building this recipe, once the scallops are cooking, what else do we have to add to it? Because Bill mentioned a lot of ingredients.
Yeah, so what we do is, we'll make the grits ahead of time. Obviously, if you're feeding a lot of people, you can make a big pot of grits that'll last you all day. So those are usually already ready to go. And then typically what I like to do after the scallops have seared, you got that little bit of residual heat in there. I'll take the scallops out of the pan, And then we got our pork belly from Autumn Farms and the greens, and we just give them a quick toss, let that fat render out a little bit, just coat them. You're not really trying to like wilt the greens. You just want them to get a little bit of bacon
and
fat
this is the
all over
beautiful
'em.
finished
Yeah.
product there, and you like to use yellow grits and butter, no cheese in there.
No cheese, no, but lots of milk and heavy cream and
The good
tons
stuff.
of butter.
Yeah, the good stuff.
And there's going to be a lot of delicious things on the brunch menu for this weekend,
Oh, yeah.
including special mimosas and drinks. So thank you, Chef, for joining us today.
Absolutely.
Got some stuff cooking on the oven. And we'll have information on the 3rd annual Richmond Brunch Weekend coming up this weekend, March 24th and 25th. Just go to richmondbrunchweekend.com, and we'll also link that to our website at wtvr.com/VTM.